Hey, we live.
We back.
We're back. Oh man, like technology trying to adapt. You can't get back. Like you can't, a show going wrong. Like, hey, like we in new times. Like I'm
We got to
cool.
keep rolling.
Exactly.
We gotta keep it up. I like, man. I don't know what happened all of a sudden. It just started getting it. So we just gonna, I guess we just kind of talk briefly, just in general, till everyone comes back on. Let me reshare it as well. But I didn't realize,
Yeah.
and I'll talk about the general aspect. We a customer in ourselves, so sometimes I have to watch how I act, because then I'm like, hold up, I'm a whole business owner too. You know what I'm saying? So but you understand why people sometimes respond and act the way they do.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know, like, if we're somewhere and something is not quite right, like, I'm big on sharing the feedback because I'm like, if I noticed it, if I seen it, then I know that someone else has. And oftentimes things go unspoken, and it could be something that's a really easy fix that no one has said anything because they may have thought no one cared about the situation. Like, I remember one time we were at one of the hotels, and they served the continental breakfast. So I'm pouring the syrup, and it's little black specks coming out, and I'm like, "Excuse me, sir. I'm not quite sure what's going on with the syrup, but it's got some black specks." But come to find out, it was something in the nozzle that they needed to change, and I'm like, so how many people ate black specks or just didn't eat their waffle at all because it had black specks when it was such a simple fix? So
Right.
I think it's very important, and it has a lot to do with the way you present feedback. Um, because sometimes we can be very brass as people of melanin, um, just because people expect for us to be brass. So there is a way that you can handle every situation, and giving feedback is a again one of those things that's a lost art. But I think because in the field that I'm in with our quality, we're constantly given feedback. So I think it has become like second nature to me for feedback to be given and received.
I agree.
I agree with you on that too.
And
Yeah,
another thing is, I feel as business owners, we have to create an atmosphere where the customer feels like they're comfortable with giving feedback. I remember the first person who messaged me and said, "Oh, your cake was dry."
You didn't want to hear
My
that, but
cake.
you had to take that.
I'm like, who cake she was eating? My cake was like, girl, I made the most pound cakes in town. But then I said, oh, let me just double check the temperature because, for me, baking is such a science. You have a set temperature and you set it and you wait until it's done. So I took that and I said, okay, well, maybe when I bake this particular type of cake, I need to adjust the temperature, which I did. And I've not gotten that type of response before, but creating an atmosphere where people are comfortable with telling you when something is wrong.
right. That's
I
big.
Yeah. I think too. I've had where I've actually had a customer tell me that they seen me across the room, and it was just something about me that drew them to me. That's a big thing because sometimes I know when people go to these events and you, or even at a store, you can just tell it's like, nah, I don't even want to deal with them. You get that aura, that vibe from them, that energy that they're throwing off. So it's like Autumn said, if your customers can be drawn to you, and you didn't even get a chance to say anything to them because maybe you didn't see them, but they saw you, and it was something about you that drew, that right there is like you said earlier, Michelle, when people buy people, they're not really buying the product, they're buying you
Yep.
because they like you. It could
Yep.
be six of us doing the same exact thing, but if they're not feeling somebody else, they're gonna go to someone else that's doing the exact same thing as you, and y'all might be sitting right on top of each other.
Yeah.
So that customer to be drawn to you is a big thing.
Yeah. And your product may be subpar to whoever your competitor is,
Exactly.
but because they were drawn to you and your personality, then that made the difference in not just that business, but the word of mouth and future business,
Exactly.
because word of mouth is big. I locked in a new coaching training just 2 days ago because of word of mouth. Thanks, Autumn.
No problem.
Just simply because of word of mouth. And never met her. How though people say I want to know her from Adam's Jessica, and but just from word of mouth, because people don't buy product, they buy people.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that I teach church leaders is people don't join churches, they join people.
Right.
Very
Like
much so, Don.
yes, and the thing is regardless to what you do, there's nothing new under the sun. So people always have options, especially now with the World Wide Web. Like you have access to anything anywhere in the world, so people have options. You got to
Right.
give people a reason to choose you. And a
Right.
lot of that has to do with the way that you handle yourself. It
Exactly.
has to do with the way with your personality. It has to do with the fact that you have to know that when you become a business owner, you are your brand ambassador. Like none of us have getting $10,000 checks for somebody to wear our shirts and our name, call out our name on the Instagram and all that kind of stuff like that. So you're your brand ambassador, and that's not something you can turn on and turn off. I had a incident at work with a young lady. They call me the work mom. I guess I become mama wherever I go. I don't know why, but they called me the work mom. And this is one particular young lady. I'm like, yeah, I can't be her mama. She can't be my work child. And everybody was like, why? She needs you. I was like, mm-mm. Because when you've been in a situation, like certain ways people move become familiar to you. And the way she moved, like I was married to a liar, so I see a lie a mile away. I was married to someone who was a manipulator, so I see a manipulator a mile away. And I'm like, yeah, she might hit me on the wrong spot that, ain't even her wound, and I may act out of character. And I'm a public figure, so I can't act out of character nowhere. I better go behind the door, uh, close the blinds to act out because people buy people.
Right.
Yeah.
That's big. So
Yeah.
my friend Radidra, who was trying to get on here tonight, was just crazy how it's been kind of working out. But Deidre, I call her when I tell you entrepreneur and multi-level marketing, no matter where she goes, her customers will still support her and follow her no matter what she's doing. But she takes the customer loyalty a whole nother level. Like when I tell you to kind of be on top to do what she does, of how she approaches it, it's all about the loyalty, following up, satisfaction, seeing where she can improve and tweak, considering their suggestion, their reviews. I mean, she goes to a way to kind of critique herself, to kind of continuously shape and mold her. So she never feels like this is all of me I'm giving you and I can't be tweaked or molded or I can't adjust. She's so open to adapt, to attract it. It's so big from a standpoint, I believe, in being able to satisfy a customer.
We surely needed her on here tonight.
Look,
Maybe she needs to be start giving classes and webinars on what she's doing.
like
Because
I
I'm
gotta
sure it's
get
a
her back
lot of
on.
people that need her.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And that is big because when you create a loyal fan base, like it will follow you no matter what you do.
Yeah.
Like my staff, I can post, we going to the corner and I'm gonna be giving out bubble gums. They're gonna be wanting to know what time we going, who we gonna be there, because they know n- not just we work together, but I pour into people. Like I make myself accessible to people, simply because people have choices, and you never know when your encounter may be that one pivoting moment that changes someone's life. We've lost that reverence for having space in people's lives. I tell people all the time, customers, clients, family, friends, I'm appreciative to the space that I have in your life. Because again, people have options. You are never the only person who does what you do. And because of the way the world is now, hey, everybody can YouTube University teach everybody to do something. Right?
Yeah.
It ain't nothing we can't do. That YouTube University can't train us for, so it's gotta be that something. And one of the things in business coaching I teach people, it can be 100 people who do the same thing that you do, but they can't be you do, and that you give out is what builds that customer loyalty, is what builds that fan base, which is so important. And when you build the customer, like, they will be your customer forever.
Yeah.
Only a bad my mama called it, only a bad situation. And for me, because relationship is so important to me, I don't think that there's no situation that you really can't resolve in relationship. Like, I mean, there's only extremes to where things are broken, and I feel that it should be the same way with customers as well.
Autumn, you're on mute, baby.
I see it. I see it. I see it. I think it's a good point to bring up the issue that we can't resolve. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if the person doesn't want to actually um be our client anymore, purchase our product, you know what I'm saying, or service with us, it's not like we can't resolve the issue to still be professional, because you can still get a 5-star rating just by the way you handle the situation, or approached it or discussed about it, versus if they didn't like the service that you had up front. But that
Right.
is what's going to bring me back, because I'm going to be honest, I'm probably going to try somebody else. And then, I'm going to keep, I want to try to support everybody. And then at the same time, it'll bring me back. But when I get that ability to have that one-on-one conversation, that feedback is what I'm going to offer to you. Like, I'm definitely going to offer the feedback. And then, just how you take it, I guess, determines the level that you're on with your business. Because you've seen someone say, you know what, you're blocked, you can never order from me again. You know what I'm saying? Or you have some that may say, thank you, I really consider it. I want to welcome you back. Let me reach out to you again, or let me,
Hmm.
let me offer you a new sample once we rise it and consider it. But it's two different ways to approach that whole thing.
Well, I will tell you that I, I don't, I don't understand these millennial business owners. I'm not gonna group them
Like,
all together that way, um, but they are a different type of person. Like, they're a different breed in the way that we approach situations. I think we failed them and did not give them those people skills and social skills to be. Why are you laughing, Tammy? And
Tammy,
give
no,
them
this the truth. This the
them
truth.
social skills. We failed them. Like, we didn't teach them those social personable skills, um conflict resolution and things of that nature, to be able to help them resolve problems.
I agree.
Look, I'm going on mute.
Yeah, but it's big to do because it stands out. You know what I'm saying? If I blast someone, it stands out. You know what I'm saying? Because you have a whole brand you have to represent. Everybody is gonna make a mistake. We're all human. You know what I'm saying? No matter how perfect we think we are, we're not gonna deliver the best of the best every single time. But if we treat other people how, you know what I'm saying, we expect, like, come on, man. like, that's a topic in itself. You know what I'm saying? Like, you've got to treat people how you want to be treated at the same time. You want to be heard, you got to listen. Like, vice versa. But I think the satisfaction to keep a customer around, or give them the reviews, I think is so important. Like, it's just too important. Do y'all leave reviews, or do y'all look at reviews when y'all purchase products or items, services?
Oh, on Amazon, I always look at reviews. Always.
You on
Michelle,
mute?
you on
You're
mute.
on mute, Michelle.
I feel like that's cute. Scrolling to the bottom for the reviews.
I'm looking at the response
You
time.
find out a lot. Look, and I go to them 1-star review. I want
That's
to know
me.
why they gave you a 1.
Yeah, that's me. I look at the
Yeah.
ones that got the lowest score to see what it is, but then I do take the time to look at the good stuff too. I know it's good. That's why everybody on here, but what's wrong with it? And then if it's just a few here and there that you can tell by, sometimes you can tell by the way somebody types something up, they just wasn't gonna be happy no matter what they got. They could have got something. They could have got a pen that had a jet that flew it and all that, and they still wouldn't have been happy.
Yes.
So you kind of just gotta weed through. And Autumn, what you said a while ago, you said a mouthful. You have to listen to the customer. And I know when I first started doing like MLM and stuff like that, it was like I would ask the question and I really wasn't listening. I was thinking of, what are they going to say? How can I answer it? And this and that. And it just got to a point, they kept drilling it in your head. Listen, listen. You hear so much more when you listen to what somebody has to say instead of sitting there trying to figure out how to respond to them. Sometimes you just got to listen, and
I
it'll
think
tell you everything.
I think some of the reason why business owners don't listen is because of the pride of what they do. A lot of people say, this is my business. I know how I want it. No one else has said what you said. And so it gets to the point where you turn deaf to the people that you're servicing.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the end of the day, you're not the one buying your own product. They are.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and you should always listen. You should always be humble enough to listen, but you still have, it's like you have to know how to balance it too. You have to be humble enough to listen to your customers, and you have to be strong enough to stand in your truth and what it is that you are designed to do. And so, no matter how long I've been in business, I'm always position myself as a student. I'm learning from my customers. I'm learning from my staff. And that's something else a lot of people don't do. They don't listen to their staff. Their staff sometimes have more connection to the customers than you do because you're overseeing everything, but your staff is the one that's talking to Mary and Joe and John, the ones that are coming all the time. They know what Mary and Joe want. And so if your staff saying, hey, I know you're selling this, but I'm getting feedback that this is what they want. Are you listening to your staff? And so customer service goes beyond than just the ones that's putting money in your pocket, but also the ones that's helping you. And so you get to the point where no one can tell you anything. That's a pride issue. That's a self issue. It's not necessarily a bad customer service because, like what Michelle says, once you do bad in one area, you do bad in all areas. So if you have a problem listening to people in your personal life, there's no way you're gonna listen to customers.
Nope.
There's no way. So you have to get outside of yourself and like, okay, I know what I like, but let me see what they like. So that's what surveys are so good because sometimes you can't see the forest for the trees. You're in the thick of things and you think that you have it together, but your customers are like, hey, that's a good idea, but we really want this. Sometimes if someone's thirsty, you could give them champagne and all this other stuff, and they be like, I really just want water. And you're trying to sell
With
them
2 ice
all
cubes.
Yep.
you're trying to sell them all these bells and whistles, and they're like, I just want water.
I
And
think
so
so.
you have
Also,
to
go ahead.
go ahead. No, go
It
ahead.
all it also depends on what you do when you're dealing with your customers too. Because if you are a service-based business, no matter what ideas or whatever it is that you have to do for them, it's I'm just use Autumn as an example. You have a service-based business where people come to you and you have to implement things and put things in place for them, right? It becomes a time when Autumn may say, okay, I know that if they do it like this, it's going to blow up. It's going to work if they just listen to what I got to say. But you may get that pushback and be like, no, I want it like this, that, and the other. When
Customer.
now you cannot do anything about it because they're paying you for your service. You just have to do what they want to the best of your ability, cookie cut it for them, and not just leave it, take over and just do what Autumn wants to do. So it depends on how you deal with that.
I think you have to be open to understand that's your customer. They have a customer basis, and then I have a customer basis. I can give my recommendation at the end of the day to be considered, but at the end of the day, if it's something they want, I gave my professional opinion. I gave my suggestion. So that way, if it works or if it doesn't work, I still did my job.
Right.
You know, it's so challenging on the different business levels that we all have. Sometimes with the customers we have, everyone is a customer in itself. So it's like just kind of understanding and relating to it. But I think the biggest thing of it is your customer reviews or your customers, why do they come to you, right? It's because of what we say we offer. So if we say we offer this great, awesome material and the material is cheap and it breaks apart, that's a problem. You know what I'm saying? If we turn around and we say we're top of the line and I provide these services, I'm responsive, and I take a week to come back to you, that's a problem. You know what I'm saying? So what brings them to us is what we have to consider for what we say we're going to offer. Like we have to be able to produce what we say we're going to do and how we're going to do it. Right. And be open to know that if we're not producing at 90% of what we're saying, we have to be open to take that criticism back and utilize it because we're not doing what we said we were going to do. We got a question. How do you create the customer experience that leaves a lasting impression? That's an awesome question.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Michelle, turn around on that
one. It's your turn. Look, Michelle, go on and answer.
By making the connection. Because like when I was in sales, they would teach us about identifying your customers' wins, what's their wants, their interests, and their needs. And when you identify what those are the things that you can cater to. Everybody wants that experience that leaves them wanting it again. And when you build that relationship and you build that rapport, because we are creatures who we need to be in relationship, when you create that relationship, it keeps people coming back for more. It keeps people coming back for more. And then another thing is find that thing that sets you apart. And this is as minute as it may seem, this is something that brings people to my door for their cakes. Because when they get the box and I hand it to them and they put their hand under the bottom of that box, their cake's still warm.
Mm-hmm. That part what you just said is a mouthful. Like, how do you stand out to be remembered? Like, what is going to be that key thing that's going to, you have to be cautious because if you stand out to be remembered bad, what happens? So you have to stand out to be remembered in a positive way to bring you back to remember me always. Not just the person that handed you the business card. What if I'm Tammy, when we was in Orlando at that vendor event, Stomp Down, right? There was a small business owner that made shea butter. When I tell you the business owner grabbed my hand and was like, hey, let me go ahead and put this on your hand. See how it feels and rubbed it in. Like that stood out. And for some reason, I remember that shea butter distributor just from the technique and how she was and passionate about what she did. Mm-hmm. And it was that kind of really drew me to make you, like you said, the hot warm box. I'm always going to remember the hot warm box.
That hot warm box will make you cut the cake in the car.
Consistency is key because you have to remember what you win people with is what you win them to. Mm-hmm. And so if you win a customer with something that you're not comfortable with doing or you don't consistently do, you could lose that customer just as fast as you want them.
Yeah.
So my thing is be you, be genuine. Like Edward, oh my God. He gave this whole presentation, but the thing that stuck out to me was that he owned rabbits. He was so down to earth. And I remember I said, that man have rabbits. And that is so awesome.
They'd be like,
And
what?
it's like I made a connection with him, and I was like, you know what? I want to do business with him, or I want to send business to him because I love his personality. And see, that's how I am. I'm like, someone else could be selling something way better than you, but if I make a connection with you, I want to be behind you, 10 toes down. I'm like, you know what? If your product isn't there, I want to help you get there.
Right.
If you and that's, again, that's me, and I know I probably have a different mindset because I am a business owner, but I have to connect to you personally. When I have a business meeting with someone for the first time, I don't want to talk shop the first time we sit down. I want to see if we can connect. So having that connection with your customers is key. That would keep people coming back because people hate to feel like they're just a number. They hate to feel like you're just selling to them. They hate to feel like all you care about is their money. You should feel comfortable, even if that person leave your table, leave your establishment without buying anything, and still be happy that you encountered that person. Because that person may not buy something then, but I bet you they're telling other people to buy something.
Yeah.
Girl, I didn't buy nothing, but you need to go buy something. Because that seems like something you do. I hear people tell me that all the time. Oh, my friend would love this. They didn't buy a ticket from me, but they automatically sending people to my business to buy tickets from me because of the connection.
Luke brought up a good point too. Imagine if your stylist did what they wanted instead of what you asked for.
And that's so funny because I look, my stylist, she already know. Look, I don't know, just do it.
That's me
If
too,
I don't like it when you do it, I'm gonna let you know.
So, but
That's
the
me
minute they
too.
don't do it right, what happens?
Exactly. If they don't do it, I'll be like, can you do? Nah, I don't want spiky. I want, I give her kind of a roundabout, but like he said, it's been stylists that will do that. You can sit there and tell them, look, this is what I want. Show them a picture and everything. And then when they get done, it's like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. This
What
don't
picture
look
you was looking at?
nothing like what I asked for. You're not going back to them. You're going to be like, wait a minute. Do y'all know anybody else? Because she don't listen.
What's the first thing in your mind it comes to? Because I'm gonna tell you what kind of mind. She didn't know how to do it to begin with.
That's it right there.
That
But
part.
she wasn't trying to make no money. Yes.
And didn't
Or
say, I don't know how to do it. All you had
Right.
to say is you didn't know how to do it. We could have picked another style.
You didn't want to
exactly.
turn it down. You know what I'm saying? But like that part will make you. Can you imagine how many other people see what they leave with? How many ones in the salon saw what was going on? You know,
Yes.
can you see and imagine? Even when you're in the salon, I sometimes go and I look and see it, and I can see somebody without confidence. I don't want them. I don't even know them, but I'm just pointing out little things I see.
Yeah.
Like we have to be really cautious. And I think for me, even it's a learning curve, but I'm still learning. I have to be cautious sometimes my expression. You know what I'm saying? I have to be cautious because it's big. Like, it's really big, and you have to be honest, because some people will take that and be like, oh, she's unapproachable. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? In my business, I gotta be approachable, but I want to be real at the same time.
But see,
My
it goes
shirt
along with what you
says,
were saying.
my shirt said, if my mouth don't say it, my face does.
Oh, yeah.
And you got to be careful what the face says.
Yeah,
Yes.
look, the
My face
facial
is deliberate.
reactions.
Yeah.
I told somebody over the phone, I was like, I feel your facial expression. I don't even see it, but I can feel what you was looking like when you was but
But
it's
that's so
big.
true because I remember years ago, um, my job gave us these little mirrors that says smile. They can hear your smile. And they put them up on each computer. I mean, and believe it or not, when you're doing phone, people can hear how you feel.
Yep.
Hmm.
And as an operations supervisor, when I was in Valdosta, because it was a college town, there's 4 colleges there, you would get like this fluster, especially during the summer, of college students who want to come into work with their pajamas on. I don't care what they say you can do, but you ain't finna come to my team with no pajamas on because my mama told me you gonna work how you look.
So I got a question. I got a question for us on here because we talked about how we represent our business, how we go and we stand behind our business. But what if it's a staff member that is represent? You know what I'm saying? Is somebody coachable and trainable to adjust their deliverance to your customers, or are there just some that are not? Because it may not be you. It may not be you at all. Everything that you have, the foundation, everything you're doing, but it's the staff member that's delivering it, which obviously it reflects back on you. So as a
Train,
business,
train, 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 train. I'm
From the
okay.
beginning.
Yes, I'm old school military. You got trained. They're gonna break you down and they're gonna get you the way they want you to be. So when you bring on staff, you train, and if they failure to adapt, you got to move on. If they cannot adapt,
I like that.
you you have got to move on. So that means that I'm bringing in somebody else who can adapt to what I want. If it was the way you want it, you would be doing your business. You would have it as your business. So I want, if I bring on somebody to work with me, they're gonna have to adapt to what I need. Now, I'm never too old to learn, and I'm never too young to teach. So I can learn from my daughter. I can learn from somebody else. So maybe I'm doing something wrong. So we all have to adapt at some point.
right,
Long as it makes, long as it is good for my business, our business, because when you work with me, you're like family. And that's one
yeah,
thing that I think a lot of businesses go away from. I'm not looking at you as just an employee. You're part of my family now, because if you are invested in my business, then you're going to adapt, and we're going to make this great.
right,
I don't like using that
The
word,
thing is that
but yeah.
your customers, like, when you have a staff, and training is good, but I think you have to spend time with your staff outside of the business. If the only time that your staff see you is when you're under pressure and you in mama mode or boss mode, it's gonna be hard for them to make that connection with you. And that's not saying that you got to be friends with your staff, y'all going to movies and stuff together, but they need to have a connection with you because they have to buy into your business. Like you said, you're going to represent your business well, but what is it going to take for them to represent your business well? We all talk about Chick-fil-A. I'm sure that Chick-fil-A probably spend time with their staff or have staff appreciation or something where they're able to connect with their staff, where their staff buy into the business. You know what? You need to go to Chick-fil-A because this place is awesome. Are you taking time to invest into your staff? And also on the side of the customers, if you have that staff member that can't get right, are your customers seeing you correct them, or are your customers seeing you just let that staff member do whatever they want? It's been times I've been to McDonald's and the staff is just out of control, cursing out the customers and everything, and I'm like, where is the manager? The manager's not doing anything. And so customers are looking at that too. And to go back what you were talking about, the hairstylist, is connected with Autumn. I want the reason why we allow our stylists to do what they want is because we built the trust with them.
Yes.
And so I don't want a stylist to just do something I ask you to do. If I say, give me the hairstyle like Beyonce got, and in your professionalism, that ain't gonna look right on me, don't give me that hairstyle.
Yeah.
And then let people talk about me.
Yeah.
Tell me, say, girl, I don't think you want that. And if I still say I want it, at least you told me. So when people go and talk about me, I'm like, well, girl, you did tell me. And that's going to make me respect you even more because you took time and said, girl, I don't think it's going to look right. But if you insist, I'm going to do it. And so it's again, professionalism. Give me your expertise. When I choose you as a stylist, it's because I choose you as your expertise. You know this field. You know what looks right. You can look at me and say, I think this style looks good in you, this, and this. I don't want you to just regurgitate what looks good on somebody else. And the same thing with our business. We shouldn't get on the habit that we're trying to regurgitate somebody else. Use our expertise and say, I think you would like this. I love when I go to a restaurant, I ask them, what's good tonight? What do you suggest? I'm sorry, I'm reading what he said.
Me too.
Personally, I'd rather not hire employees. I look for percentage partners. Then, if forced to select the best character with the strongest ethics, and they have a sense of ownership of everything we do.
I love
Yes.
it, Lucas. I love it.
Yes.
That is 100% right
Yes.
there.
I was going to make that same point because Chick-fil-A makes their employees part owner.
Correct.
They give them ownership. And when you give a person ownership, they know that it not just reflects you, but it also reflects them.
Right.
I know it was a situation where one of my coaches, she had a moment of venting and she made this long vent on Facebook. And I inboxed her and I said, ma'am. And that was it. She said, okay, I'm taking it down. Not that I'm policing what you put on your Facebook, because you're grown, put what you want to. But know that what you do represents two brands, your brand and my brand. So you got to be cognizant of what you do and the way you move because people are always watching.
Yes.
Mhm.
Mm.
I agree.
Yes.
I agree. Like the customer aspect is so powerful and it can kind of go on for what you doing that for?
Look at Luke come in.
That, I got
There you go.
it.
I used to be my pastor reader. He'd be like, read.
Like
Great is the Lord and greatly to be praised.
the customer aspect is so big. Luke is like, I'm telling you, Luke is like, he be on it. He be on it. Luke got that military aspect that like it's the skill that I feel like I missed and I should have went in the military for. Because
Well,
Tammy kind of got it too. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's a different way to identify on a top where you take your feelings off and you're like
oh yeah.
100% focused on one thing.
Yeah.
Like that aspect of it keeps that structure in because you find to be sympathetic for your employee or sympathetic for a customer, you're violating all
Yeah.
over. You know what I'm saying? There has to
Yeah.
be a straightforward, narrow line.
Yeah.
But
Um,
you can't be so straightforward that you don't give yourself leeway to bend, because structure is good,
mhm.
but relationship is better.
I agree. I think that if you
I mean,
stay,
it's like, okay, let me put it this way. I tell, whenever I do business or I work with my youth or whatever, I tell them, I give you the skeleton and I allow you to put the meat on the bones. The skeleton gives you the structure,
mhm.
but they have their part by putting the meat on the bones. They get to add to it. You ever been in art where you had this little skull and you got these little lines that you put on there, and then you got to put clay on there? I'm by myself. Okay.
Yeah.
but but you get what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's like I do this and you do that. So it's like we're working in tandem. I'm giving you the structure, so this is how it's supposed to go, but I'm allowing you to give it some flavor.
Right. I think depending on the job and what you do, I think it's good. And I'll say this because I have owned other homes to rent them now for over 5 years, you know, and that, Timmy, I don't know what you're looking at.
We have a yellow jacket flying around right now.
Oh, and I'll say that, you know, coming in, I don't want to be that landlord that's like not understanding. You know what I'm saying? I want to be that landlord that works with you. I want to be that different landlord. Saying that could have cost me to lose my house. You know what I'm saying? Like I have to be on an aspect where I have to take the values that I have at what I'm doing and make sure that's aligned. Like I have sympathy. Hey, you know what I'm saying? You're not okay. We'll go. But once you start leading a little bit and you have to draw back, that respect is gone in itself, and
But
you're
see,
struggling to find a balance.
you're talking about owner and consumer. I'm saying with your staff.
Oh yeah,
So
you're still on staff. Okay, yeah, I was
I was
talking
talking about your
about.
staff.
Yeah, I was going back to the customer aspect of it. You know what I'm saying? When we were
Oh
talking
no,
about, yeah, that's why I was
I was
like,
talking about staff. I was
oh,
saying about how, because sometimes we be so structured that we forget to connect with our staff, and then you wonder why your staff is being mean to your customers. You know what I'm saying? Uh, not coming in late and doing all this other stuff because they haven't bought into the business. And at this point, they just see you as a paycheck.
Yeah,
And so,
I think the discussion of staff goes so many different ways.
Yeah.
In the aspect of the staff actually watches us as business owners as well.
yes,
So they
Hmm.
determine who we talk to, who we give the pass to, who we don't get a pass. There's so many different aspects of the staff that almost you have to treat the staff, no matter who they are, everyone the same. You know, like everyone, you have to hold them accountable. If you give them something, there has to be accountability there. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, they're considered just like us if they're staff, no matter who they are. So the staff, I think it's a whole nother discussion, honestly. So Michelle, what you think? That staff part can go a long way.
It can. I'm a firm believer that you can't treat everybody the same way because everyone is different. I think that there is a level of boundaries that you set for each individual person and you govern them accordingly.
Right.
Because like you may have an employee that is outstanding employee, and that level of outstandingness is what you expect. But then you may have some who's going through some can't give you 100%. Excuse me. So therefore, you may give them a little bit of leeway, um, because you know right now 100% is what they can offer to you.
When do you change that, though? For example,
May
uh,
have when you're building the relationship, you're able to gauge everybody accordingly. I'm a structured person, type A personality. You would think I have been in the military. I haven't,
your service going in and out. Is it just me? Or your
but
I see
those
hers going in
boundaries.
and out too.
okay. Your service going in and out.
I'm in now.
Yeah, you
Okay,
were stopping,
so
and I was like, wait.
I believe that you need those boundaries. Like every relationship and everything you do, every facet need boundaries. But I think that when we learn how to play within those boundaries, and
It ain't letting her be great,
when
Tammy.
people know for
See,
them, I'm still cutting out.
yeah.
It must be something good I'm going to say. Loose hair devil. When people know that your intentions are good, and they know that
All
Michelle,
right.
you don't look like I'm froze again.
Yeah.
we'll let you.
That devil is a liar.
And
I'm
Carissa
finna
having
type.
a whole conversation. Her facial expression telling it all.
Yeah.
Listen,
Okay, now, hey, at least
look,
we tried to make it work tonight. We
I know
able to be
we not
realistic
gonna
and be able to
lose.
do what
We
they
are
gotta do.
winners.
But I agree with what you're saying though. Like the boundaries have to be there to have a standing
Yeah,
point, but you got to
yeah.
be flexible to know someone could have lost their loved one. You have to be able to adapt to adjust, but don't have it go on forever. You know what I'm saying? Like it has to be a point where it's like, okay, this time has been here, let's generate it back. Because that one
Hmm.
employee that expects and goes above and beyond, guess what? They're overwhelmed now. They're burned out, they done took on so much and they're looking like I need relief
Yeah.
as well. We had that meeting today at work as a prime example. You know, giving somebody more of a load because they can handle it, giving someone less. Hey, we watching, we counting, like when our time when you finna take this back from us. I'm tired, boss. But they're watching, you know what I'm saying? So I think we just have to be really cautious. Yeah. Chris going in. But I thank everybody for joining. I know we still have 7 on watching. Anybody have any comments? Definitely go here and post it. But we want to give the ability to know as a business owner. I'm gonna pull Carissa down till she done talking because she was going in on something.
Carissa done went all the way out.
Hey, when Carissa turned her face, that facial expression, oh, she back on. I had to pull you down. You on mute.
I'm sorry, y'all. My face need deliverance.
Lord.
Hey, I'm like, oh, let me pull her down real quick. Just
I'm
what I
sorry.
I'm buying you this shirt.
I'm sorry.
did.
Carissa, I'm
Uh,
buying you this shirt.
yes. I'm
But
sorry.
I think this topic is truly important. I'm probably going to bring it back again. That way, because we did open up a lot for discussion, and there's so much to be valued of it all together. Because
Yes.
our audience is so big, and we have to be understandable about that audience and how big it is. So I thank everybody for watching, and thank y'all for the technical difficulties that still had us flowing where we were smooth. You know what I'm saying? We coming because honestly, we're being realistic. You know, we're coming to you on the aspect of what we've encountered, who we are, what we've done. So, you know, it's just our opinion, but we got to get it out there. You know what I'm saying? So others can join in. We can provide a safe place to all talk. Trust me,
Yeah.
we dig in each other's back, and then we also rub it at the same time.
Yes.
All right. Thank y'all for joining and watching, and we will see y'all next Thursday.
Bye.